What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Idiot Brothers channel and Home Wars. We're on episode 5 at this point. After a very chrono shifty style happening in the last episode, since, lost save data and all that jazz. We are, well, I mean, we're in a quite a better place than we were, I would say. Successful chrono shift. Anyway, so it looks like we've just got a second hallway battle to fight here. We've got everywhere else pretty settled in, so let's hop right in. We will start off with this, which is mostly, thank goodness there are no crickets in there. Or, yeah, crickets. It is Conquer the Flag, so we're probably not going to do very well on this one. We do have all the deployment points, though. They can only deploy from there. Which would mean if we just so happen to do this... So I'm not saying this will work, because it probably won't. That being said, we'll spin these around here. Press start. Hopefully this sapper can get these defenses up very quickly. Taking a very forward approach on this one. Looks like we're probably not going to do too well, though. I'm hoping that's just riflemen that we're losing out on there. Yeah, the fact that we're already out of ammo on the supply trucks, or at least one of them, is a little concerning. Alright, this was a horrible idea. That being said, I'm just gonna take the L here. We're gonna go back, we're gonna withdraw, we're gonna take the L there. I don't think we have much of a choice, just due to bad positioning. So yeah, it looks like we did lose quite a significant amount of riflemen, which is unfortunate. But at least we didn't lose much from mechanized. Then we still have our light tank division sitting back here that can't move yet. Our sappers, you're still a sapper unit, and you're just straight riflemen. So next turn we can get them moved on into there. I wonder what they're gonna do. That is a lot of bugs. Oh no. Okay.
Mission complete. Get into position.
We're gonna run that over, get the resources from that. We are 100% going to get that sapper in there. We're gonna kind of move these sappers around, shift them around a little bit. Let's get this light tank division moved up. We're not gonna be recruiting this turn. We just don't have the plastic with which to do so. However, I think we are gonna get another plastic factory up. That'll bring us up to 3,000 a turn. So we'll be sitting pretty good on that. This is going to be a very large fight. Do they have any? Yeah, they do. So they do have some spiders. Yeah, they've got quite a bit there. Let's see, it's defend the allied outpost, which is good for us. I think we should have enough firepower there to actually deal with that. I wish we had artillery. However, we just do not, which is very unfortunate. Get one of these down, vehicles, get all of our scout cars down, and get these down. Start, pause. Okay, we've got quite a bit of battle points to work with here, so we are going to make sure that this is very well defended. Otherwise, it is going to be very problematic, and I'd rather not lose this if we don't have to. Get extra defenses down around here just to make sure that we are dealing with it. Get some more of these down. Alright, that is all of our points. We're gonna leave we're just gonna leave everything stacked up here. I think that's just the way to go, because then we can concentrate our firepower better that way. Get the rest of these defenses down. Alright, we've got them down. We are pretty much ready to go at this point. So we're going to switch to ×1. Yes, that's good. Lots of gunfire. Lots and lots of gunfire. We want all that gunfire. We're going to need it, because we are definitely going to take some damage here. Oop. Bugger off with those flies. So I think those are tier 3. Yep, we're going to lose some infantry here. We've got 4 dead so far, which is not great. That's not what you want to see. That's 5 down. We're going to switch them back to close. That's 10 riflemen down, 11 riflemen down. This is not going great. I think we're gonna have to take the L here. Yep, we're gonna take the L here. I'm not gonna keep fighting that. That is basically going to just, I mean, that's a huge depletion for us right there. Yeah. So riflemen just are not cutting it anymore. That being said, yeah, there's none of those left. It looks like all the damage were in the flyers. So we are gonna need to pick up some anti-air. Yeah, there's just not. Let's get these transferred over, combine those armies down. That unit's going to need replenishment. Our tanks are just a few turns away, so it's just not going to work there. And they do have the tier 3s. That puts us in a predicament here, because we just simply can't really deal with that at the moment. I think we're going to need to invest in the light AA vehicles, or at minimum at least get some artillery. But I don't... We're not in a very good spot right now. Honestly, so as I spoke last episode about it, I'm still very highly tempted to remove my restriction on the marksman and the sniper. They're just simply too good early on to really not use them. I feel like there's no decent alternative without cheesing recon vehicles, because even 50 riflemen struggled to just put the damage output out there. So I feel like it's going to come down to needing the marksman and the sniper, but I will hold on that for as long as I can. So let's move to the next turn. They're going to split up, which is what we need. So the ant swarm is heading here. Okay, that's fine. So the ant swarm's heading there, which is fine. We have the tier 3s over here, which is not fine because all we have is a sapper there. We have nothing to hold this, and that's another tier 3 swarm, right? Yep, that's a T3 swarm. That's another one. Yeah, I think we might have to just kind of give up and consolidate. I mean, we can't really afford to do that. The problems are mounting. I think we need to get the tanks in there. The tanks are just going to be required at this point. I feel like we're going to have to give these rooms... Ooh, tough choices, tough choices. I feel like we might be able to do this room now. That being said, we do have the sappers there, so they need to run over there to deal with that. Alright, I think we're going to make them. So I think we're going to try... we are going to try to take this, because we really need to cut this off. We're not going to be able to hold this, I don't think. Not with the one sapper that's there. I mean, we can try, but I don't think that's going to be very feasible. Especially because they have the... Alright, so you know what? We're going to take the sapper and we're going to back it up. We obviously can't do that. So what I think we're going to do is we are just going to have to book it. I think if we're going to die on a room, we're going to go back here. We're going to defend. We're not going to assault. We'll leave that room for now. So we need to get to the next turn. So this, we're just going to have to retreat and let them have it, which is going to give them a lot of resources I'd rather they not have. The office, though, I believe we should be able to hold this. Like I said, the riflemen are just not putting out. They're just not. They've just become utterly obsolete at this point, which is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate, because they are the mainstay of the army right now. So, vehicles, get these down. 5, infantry, start, pause. Try to get those down as much as possible. Just get some protection around it, honestly. Let's get our defenses down. Hope we can hold. They have 70 groups. I mean, obviously they're going to be deploying from over there. I wish we had more sappers. I would just try to run the sappers over there and take it out, but I don't think that's going to be very feasible. Yep, get away from the front. We don't want you up there. And here they come. Alright, they're doing decent. They're doing decent. We're getting some nice number droppage here. That's what we want to see. Nope, 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 nope! The crickets are going to be our downfall. Yikes! Alright, so the barbed wire is just not cutting it. Nope. We're not going to be able to, we're not going to be able to take it. Yep, we're going to have to give it to him. We're going to have to give all of those rooms to him. I don't see a way to realistically do this. Because they just... They have so much HP. And the armies have just whittled down at this point, especially the riflemen. Like I said, they just don't do enough. Anyway, the first bathroom is a sapper battle. I will take care of this off camera, so I will be back when the battle is over. Alright, and we're back. So, honestly, battle done. Got the experience for it, which is really much needed right now. So, during that fight, I did have some contemplation time. With the increased difficulty, I believe that these are just absolutely going to be necessary to my sanity. And I'm going to unlock and I'm going to use them with haste. So I am giving in on this, so we are going to be picking up our marksmen and our snipers as quickly as humanly possible. So we're going to get our standard setup going on here. We're going to create that army. I was going to wait to make it, however, we need to get troops to the front quick, and we need something that hits hard to the front as well, not just something quick, because obviously riflemen aren't going to cut it. Scout cars are just way too expensive to be spamming, and we just don't have the resources to maintain it. So it's one of those things where I'm going to have to give in on this and just allow the marksmen to be snipers. So we're going to do it. They're going to continue their push here. I think we are going to fall back. We're going to have to give it to them. That's just a lot of resources that... So I will say one thing. One very big gripe of mine is when we walk over a point, we don't get resources, but when the bugs walk over a point, they get resources. I don't believe that's how that should work. I believe if we walk over, or if they get resources for walking over a point, so should we. Obviously, that's not the case. I'm not going to take this fight. I don't want any troops getting risked right now. We're going to want these guys moved up. We're going to want to get this army moved up as well. Get this army back into the hallway. So that will put us... I mean, we're not very good off here. I think we're just going to try to combine as much as we can. Even though that doesn't really leave us with much combat power, because that is about almost half of the army is non-combat power. So that's not great there, but overall it could probably be a lot worse. So at least our tanks have joined up at this point, so we have some assault troops, some recon, and some light tanks with the main group now. So that'll help us out greatly there. I think we are going to head in. We're going to recruit. Let's see if we can pick up some light tanks. Let's get some recon. Let's pick up some marksmen to round it out. Let's do our standard 2 sapper, 3 supply truck setup there. Create that army. So we're going to get that army out there. That costs about what we get per turn, which, you know, better than what we have been doing there. So that set us back quite a bit there. So let's end the day there. Let's continue on to the next turn, see what the bugs are going to do here. Yep, they're pushing right up into here. It is a good thing that we just got our defenses down. I think we'll be able to hold that pretty easily. This army is going to start moving up. I think this army is going to join. At this point, we need all the help we can get, and those marksmen are going to be absolutely invaluable to dealing with those bugs. I believe we can unlock the sniper now. Yes, we can. Which is great. Alright, so headquarters or no recruitment. We're going to recruit a new army, infantry. We're going to run vehicles. We're going to do 5 light tanks, 5 recons. We're going to run a sniper corps here, so we're going to pick up a bunch of snipers. I think we're going to do something a little different. This army is probably going to be supported by the rest of them, so we're going to do 2 sappers and 1 truck, because obviously we are kind of overloaded on supply trucks a little bit, so we're going to recruit that army there. Um, obviously, we're not going to be able to defend that, so we're going to have to retreat. That is going to put them at this. So they are going to get level 4. So we are going to have to retreat from that. That will edge them to level 4, I do believe. At least they are not getting an active bonus, which I will happily take. So let's see what we've got. So where's that one sapper? So I'm just going to have the sapper and the rifleman join. Just to clean up the amount of stuff that's scattered about. Obviously, they're going to stay there. They're going to stay there. Just to, I don't even think they can really, well, they're just there for ant swarms anyway. Anyway, we're going to get this battle on the road. We have our full power here. We should be able to hold this quite easily. That being said, we have plenty of time for setup. So we are going to get, yeah, you know what, screw the riflemen. We will get those down though. We will get all of our marksmen down. We'll put our rifles down just to have some extra bodies. Get our scout cars down. Get our tanks down. And get our vehicles down. Alright, so we're going to hit start, pause, sapper, you know the drill. They are going to come at us from the side, I do believe, there. Which is just unfortunate for us, because we couldn't camp that. Get our BWs. I'm not being 100% perfect with the placement. That's not what I'm going for. I'm just trying to quickly get defenses set up so we have something to help deal damage in between. Get some of these down. If I remember correctly from the last season, the light tanks, or the tanks here, cannot target air. Put you on 1. Oop! L. Alright. Control 2.
Roger that. Attack formation. Roger that. Order acknowledged. Roger that.
Well, I only needed 1.
Roger that.
We're just gonna kind of hug them against the thing there. Get you all on 2. And here they come. Marksman already putting in work.
Attack formation. Standing by. Move out. Order received. Copy that.
I don't want them to move around like that. Yep, so this is why the marksmen are really good. They have such good range and allows them to spot for the other units as well. That just helps out significantly, especially against these flying bugs. We are going to need to look at investing into some large caliber for the tanks, I believe. We cannot be losing all of our stuff here. The tanks are doing work. I honestly think it is mostly marksmen, though, just to be honest. Here come the cockroaches. So at some point in the near future, I want to go through this game, set up a save that has everything unlocked, and just go through each of the unit's powers. Because obviously, there's some real balancing issues here. Obviously, when it comes to infantry, some are just infinitely better than the others. Again, marksmen and snipers they don't hold up. Nothing holds a candle to them. They are just the cream of the crop when it comes to everything early game infantry, even mid game infantry, and even late game infantry. Because ammunition for rockets are just so expensive that it just doesn't. It's not cost efficient when you can just have a sniper that does insane amounts of damage, pierces armor, and the like, do it for you. Obviously, you've got fire support with the tanks here. That's helping quite a bit. But there really just needs to be a better unit balance here. And I'm not saying... And obviously I know that the dev isn't really working on this game anymore. But for Home Wars Battlefield, I would really like to see a better unit balance composition here. So more unit compositions are... you can diverse a little bit more. Because right now it seems like, especially in this one, it's very guilty of you need this unit if you want to be effective. If it was just riflemen with no marksmen mixed in, I have a feeling I would be losing stuff right now. Which, I mean, you know, content. But at the same time, I really want to give this a chance, and I really do want to win this campaign because I put the difficulty up quite significantly, and the only other thing I can increase at this point is their health and their damage up to 2 times instead of 1 time or 1.5 times. So I'm at a point where, let's see here. All right, they're all dead, so we're just gonna march our booties on over. It just comes down to a point where I feel like there's just no unit mixing. I've tried to go without them. It just doesn't work very well. And I lost my train of thought. But at the end of the day, I'd like to see a better unit composition going forward in the Home Wars games. Because, like I said, very disparaging unit balance, and it kind of sucks. It really does. Because obviously I would like to use some different units instead of relying on the snipers and the marksmen to do all the dirty work for me. I'm hoping the tanks really put out, so we'll find out in a second. Alright, so the marksman did 70,000 HP of damage. The light tank did 102,000. Alright, so they're really starting to put out. The marksmen are helping. Obviously, they're great fire support, but these light tanks, they're a game changer. I'm telling you, they're a game changer. So that'll help us in the long run. That means we should actually be able to make a push pretty quickly. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do it this turn. We're not going to be able to really do it next turn either because I want to get these other 2 armies up there. Because we're going to start mixing compositions. I don't want to just spam marksmen and snipers. I do want to use them as more of a support role instead of just relying on them straight up like I did in the last campaign. So that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to mix a little bit more, get the recon vehicles in there, get the light tanks in there, get some anti-air, keep the marksmen in there, get some snipers, do that type of thing. So I believe I'm going to end the video there. So we're definitely worse off than we were before. I do believe next turn they will be at level 4, which means we will start seeing the really big stuff, which is going to have a lot of HP. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell icon if you want to see more. And it really does help the channel, y'all. And I will see y'all in the next episode.